sector-led approach where the UK has some powers to come in and say, hang on, things are not working well here. And on that note, Brian, I think will probably agree that things are not working so well in Scotland at the moment. Do you want to talk to us about Scotland, Brian? Let me just introduce you formally. You've had the honour of representing both the Conservative Party in the Scottish Parliament very successfully, and then the Brexit Party more recently in the European Parliament. You've been a successful journalist and still do some excellent work on the Scotsman newspaper and other publications. So you're an old friend of the Freedom Association again. So great to welcome you back. Over to you, Brian.
Well, thank you very much for that very kind introduction. I have to say, I am tempted to be completely incoherent now, because having heard everything that's gone before, I rather feel like I want to join and acclaim what has been said by Andrew, Kate and David. There's so much there that is true and I agree with. And I see in Scotland replicated in other parts of our great country. I was born just at the tail end of the 50s. I was educated in the 60s and 70s in Scottish state schools. I grew up being British and Scottish, and I enjoyed nothing more than the sporting occasions of Scotland being at Wembley and occasionally winning and sometimes being gubbed, or winning at Murrayfield against Wales, a great Welsh team, but yet we could still occasionally win. These were things that, much as there was competition, I felt family, as in you had competitions with brothers or sisters. And so being Scots, but being British was something that just, I took it from my mother's milk. It was natural. And now I find that, we have to fight. We have to proclaim our Britishness. And I put that down a great deal to a number of politicians, not just Tony Blair, Conservatives too, by the way. But the real lesson I think that comes out of this is how ashamed we have been for too long of being British in our establishment, and the unwillingness to fly the flag that has been commented on already. The BBC, as David talks about, it used to proclaim Britishness and its values, its positive values. Of course, every country makes its mistakes. Every country has things it can be shameful about. But, on the balance, being British was something we all felt proud about for what we had done, what we had achieved, what we'd given and sacrificed. And goodness me, now we cower. And it is appalling. It is appalling. And what we have done is we have appeased. And appeasement always fails. It always fails. And what we have done is we have rewarded the nationalists. And I mean that nationalist thing very strongly. And those of us who are from Northern Ireland and Wales and Scotland, we are probably closer to nationalism than most English people, in the sense that we come across it. People who seek to divide us, people who seek to other the English. I mean, how disgraceful. If this was done against people of their religion or their colour, it would be treated with complete disdain. And but no, I see it in Scotland all the time, the othering of people because they might come from England, or they might have an English accent, even though they might be Scottish, by the way. It is absolutely appalling. So we have to recognise that the appeasement has not worked. If we give some institutional change, if we actually give some more money, and I very much agree with what Kate said about the money issue. Money is not what matters. I want a Scotland that contributes to the treasury, not takes from it. Yeah. I want to be proud that my home nation, the Scottish nation, contributes to the treasury and helps people in other parts of England that are poorer. I mean, the gift of oil and the tax revenues that came from it went to Scotland. It actually contributed to easing the pain of coming out of the heavy industry and the mining and the steel bashing industries that we had. But it also contributed to the same in the rest of the UK. And of course now we've had many years when, in fact, as the oil revenues have depleted, that in fact we in Scotland have actually been the recipients of help. This is called pooling and sharing. It's a great thing. It's what countries do. They spread their revenues, they spread their help. They have solidarity. This is important. But what we have allowed is the diminution of British solidarity. So yes, let's do things like flying the flag. It's very important to me. But yes, also, let's actually look at what institutions work and in what way they work. I remember when I was involved in the 79 referendum about devolution, that the universities did not want to be part of a Scottish devolved assembly. They wanted to be part of the UK. By the time it came in 97, they had changed their minds. They'd been convinced that they should, oh no, we might have more power, more money. Well, how much have they paid since then? Because of course, what has happened is that they've been sucked into this whole nationalism and they've been diminished by not being part of the UK system. To the extent which Scots families living in England have to pay to go to a Scottish university. English, Welsh, Northern Irish families going to Scottish universities have to pay to go to Scottish universities. But people from the EU were not being asked to pay. That was clearly ridiculous. And we now have the situation in Scotland that Scots educated in Scotland actually are turned down in preference to overseas students because they pay. There's a cap, and it stops the meritocracy of Scots who come from poor backgrounds but have qualifications not getting into university in their own backyard. It is absurd. Yeah. Nationalism divides us. It splits us up. It puts us against each other. And there's absolutely no need for it. We need to reclaim our institutions. We need to reclaim our flag, not because it actually is something that is about all the good we've done. It's also about some of the mistakes we've made. But we can be proud that we've recognized those mistakes, and we have freedom of speech and debate to actually discuss them. But strangely, the same people who want to not allow us to fly the flag are the same people who want to introduce restrictions on our freedom of speech, who want to shut us up. So I would say that being part of Britain is not about money. It's about the heart. It's about believing we're British. And we need to work far harder on that. And we need to stop appeasing nationalists by actually saying, here's the good that we do around the world, the good that we do in our country, how we look out for each other. If we do all that, then I actually think we will turn the tide. And I recognize the mistakes Boris has made with things such as the protocol, but I also recognize the triumph of some of the changes he's seeking to make in overriding these devolved parliaments who would rather create grievance than actually build solidarity. And solidarity must be our goal.